It's Kristie J from the Chisholm Report. You're tuned in to Hot 702.5.
Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Cheryl Underwood, and you're tuned into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5.
This is Kristen Gamer, and you are tuned into my mom, Kristie J.
Hi. Hey. What's up?
All your favorite artists.
Check it out.
Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
This is Hot 702.5.
Tune in now on hot7025fm.com.
Come talk shit and politics with Kristie J from the Chisholm Report every Saturday at 10 a.m. on hot7025fm.com.
Yeah, election time's coming. Who you gonna vote for? Yeah, if I was president, I'd get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday. They go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, if I was president, yeah. Instead of spending billions on the war, I can use that money so I can feed the poor. Cause I know some so poor. When it rains, that's when they shower, scream and fight the power. That's when the vulture devours. If I was president, I get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday. They go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, if I was president, yeah. I know some soldiers that sleep but they can't dream, wake up with screams, sounds of M16. So take this medal of honor for your bravery. I wish you the best, kid, you and your family. If I was president, I get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday. They go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, if I was president. But the radio won't play this. They call it rebel music. How can you refuse it? Children of Moses, tell the children the truth, the truth. It's not all that bling that's diamond. Tell them the truth, the truth. Most of y'all wear cubic zirconium. Tell them the truth, the truth. Yeah, your soul is worth more than diamonds.
If I was president, all blacks that have reparation, no segregation, feed the nation so there's no famine. Muslims, Jews, Christians, with all whole hands every week on the beach. Party by the sand, word up. Take trips on Air Force One. Don't need to bring the homeless with no sneaks to Air Force One. Better schools in the hood, better teachers for the classes, making money, paying no tax. Find the best scientists, tell them come up with an answer. I want the cure for AIDS and cancer, but I gotta watch my back. Snipers on the hill with the steel, waiting to JF
I was president, I get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday. They go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president. I feel the rain coming. Let me play my guitar for them right now.
Let's go.
Refugees. Yeah.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for you guys stopping in every Saturday at 10 a.m. to be able to sit with me and talk shit and politics. This is the Chisholm Report, and I am Kristie J. I am educated at Southern University, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, with a political science degree and a healthy portion of my need to be able to get this information out is because I'm very passionate about my community, about my people, and about the things that are going around that they try to sneak under the radar for us dealing with government and politics. So just to kind of give you guys a rundown, we have an event coming up. Actually, it's called the Multicultural Festival, and this is going to be on April the 13th from 5 p.m. to 7:30. This is at the Pinecrest Academy that they have there in, I believe this is Henderson. Yeah, and they'll have performances, they'll have food trucks out there, family fun, artwork, everything. You guys come on out. It is a community event. Let's go ahead and support each other and make sure that we show our kids that we are interested in the work that they're doing. They should have performances by the kids and also artwork by the students. You know, let's come out and go with this multicultural festival that they have on April the 13th. Thursday. We will have a in-house DJ, which is fine ass Kristie, and also Aretha Hardin, which is a world-renowned singer. Okay, she will be there also. So you guys, you don't want to miss out. So I appreciate you guys going to go support our communities and making sure that our kids know that we are there for them. I wanted to share this little story the other day. So I take it, when your kids, sometimes you'll try your best to try to keep the smile on your face and stuff like that, and your kids kind of know something's not right with mom or dad that day. And I was going to bed with a heavy heart with some stuff that I had on my head, and I was like, just how am I going to get through this? How I'm going to make this happen? How I'm going to do this or whatever. And then when I woke up the next morning, I went to go wake my son up. I kiss him, and he's like, I put something under your pillow for you. I'm like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, what did he put under my pillow? I'm thinking, he probably put my remote or something because he normally steals it. And I didn't even think about it. I go through the morning of getting him ready and getting him on the bus, get him shipped off to school, and then I go sit back on my bed to get myself ready for the day. And I started looking for my remote, remember that my son said, I put something under your pillow for you, and I'm thinking it's the remote. And I stick my hand under the pillow, and I pull out this wad of money, okay? I'm talking about thousands, okay? Thousands of dollars, okay? And I'm like blown away, like, what the hell? I'm like, oh my God, And I started looking a little deeper into the money, and it's counterfeit money, okay? It's prop money, but I mean, he left me a good $10,000 under my pillow, okay? And when I was like, I cannot believe that he did that. And the first thing I thought of, like, please don't let him go to school with counterfeit money trying to buy stuff at school, because if he gave me $10,000, he probably got $50,000 on him, okay? So when he got out of school that day, and he ran up to me. He was like, did you get what I put under your pillow? And I was like, I did. He was like, is it going to help? And I just had to tell him, yes, it took care of everything. Thank you so much. So just for my rock, I just want you guys to know that my son is my everything, okay? And the fact that he would even do that to make sure that I was okay, I promise you, to the end of this world, he will get everything I got. Okay, so if your kids are out there and they're just doing for you guys, be blessed in their presence, because sometimes when you can't help it and it's stuff that's on your mind, they see it, and even in their little minds, they're trying to help you figure it out. So shouts out to my son, Christian Gamer, who also has the show Christian Gamer and the YouTubers. I love you. You're such a blessing to me, and I thank you so much. So that's my rant for today. I really appreciate y'all letting me talk about him because he is amazing. Okay, but let's go ahead and get to what's happening around us and locally, nationally, and also internationally. So locally here in Las Vegas, I just want to first start by saying that everybody, like I said, everybody is going through things, and it's rough out here for people. So right now there's a bill out there, B, which is A for apple, B for ball, okay? 340, which is in regards to Nevada evictions, okay? And this bill is actually, it's supposed to help the landlord have more control over being able to put someone out. I'm going to go ahead and go into the story, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
Good evening. I'm Denise Valdez. A new bill proposed in the Nevada legislature could change our state's rental landscape. Assembly Bill 340 would make evictions different and also require landlords to go through a specific court filing process. Sasha Loftus joins us live at the Las Vegas Justice Center downtown with more on both sides of this issue.
Denise, if AB 340 moves forward, it would require landlords to come here to the courts before they evict someone. Now, those backing the bill say it would level the playing field, but those opposing it say it could cause financial problems.
It's frustrating.
This man, who doesn't want to share his name, says he's struggling to make ends meet.
I look at some of the people down in my neighborhood that had apartments, man, just living on the street.
He tells me rent at his apartment, where he's lived for nearly 30 years, recently jumped from $500 to $800 a month. While his landlord gave him a 60-day notice, he's come close to being evicted.
We often hear the term summary eviction.
Assembly Bill 340, presented to the Nevada Legislature Assembly Judiciary Committee Wednesday, is meant to help people like this.
It's like, oh, you've been evicted.
Will Pregman is with Battleborn Progress, a local organization backing the bill. He says it would require a landlord to file an official court complaint and serve a tenant with a copy of it before an eviction.
If a landlord needs to evict a tenant, that can still happen, but there has to be an ability for the tenant to reasonably respond to it.
But some call AB 340 a bad idea. Derek Mollinger of Vice Realty Group, which manages this man's building, sent a statement saying in part, landlords have been destroyed in the state because of AB 486. Now the state seeks to further damage landlords with this new bill.
What I'm paying for is not worth it at all.
All while this one of many who says he hopes to see something change. Now, AB 486, which passed around the time of the pandemic, stops eviction if there is a pending application for rental assistance. That's set to expire in June. Now, as for this new bill, it still would have to pass through the Senate and the state assembly to get to the governor's desk to be signed into law. As for the landlord, that statement we mentioned, you can read that full statement on our website, 8 News Now.
Okay, so this allows this to become a civil matter with the landlord and the tenant, okay? Half of the problem is that the landlord will say that they gave you proper notice for you to either pay or vacate, and then we're finding out that it's taking longer for the mail to be able to get there. The constable has not been there yet. Literally, the letter's only been on their door for one day, and now they're being evicted. Going to court beforehand allows you to be able to say, hey, okay, I know that I'm having an issue being able to pay. I have this coming up. I'm moving to this new job. My payment, my money should be in by this day. Can you work with me? Can you take this amount of money until then? And basically have a court, have a judge be able to mediate between the both of you before it gets to the point of you being put out. If you guys are not noticing all the additional people who are out on the streets right now, it is sad. And a lot of people, you have to think about the barriers that people have. If they don't have any money coming in, if they don't speak the language, if they're not savvy, if they're not computer savvy, if they don't have a car, you know what I mean? All these different factors come in with them, and then now on top of that, they're now homeless. Okay, so I am for this bill. I am for them to be able to come to a meeting ground with the person and the tenant, because you'll find out very quickly who is about paying the bill and who's not. Okay, that way you can actually maneuver correctly and not put out a woman who's been in a resident for over 20 years or something like that, and then she has a hiccup in her SSI or unemployment or retirement check or something like that, and she ends up out of her apartment in a 1 month situation because maybe the management has changed or something of that nature, and they don't know who she really is or her history. Okay, this allows the judge to be able to take your history into play. If you're a person that won't pay your rent or have issues, they're going to be able to see that and then say, you know what, we'll give you 2 weeks for you to be able to get yourself out instead of 1 or 2 days. Or they'll be like, you know what, you've been able to pay your rent for the last 5 years. We haven't had any issues with you. You don't have any violations. Let's go ahead and give them some grace so they can be able to get back on their feet and keep their residence. So you guys just keep my prayers go out to the people that are dealing with it. If you see right now, the weather is weird. It's hot 1 minute, cold the next minute, raining, snowing, all these additional things that's happening, and people are still trying to keep themselves afloat. So my prayers go out to you, and I hope you win the mega bucks for every last one of y'all. And when you do, send me $1, okay? So I just also want to point out that Summers Armstrong is also on this bill. She's pushing this bill, and I'm behind you, sister. Let's go. Okay. Let's go into what happened. So if you guys were paying attention to the news yesterday here in Las Vegas, we had a scare of a gun on campus. Now, this is a trend that has been happening here in Nevada and all over the country, but here in Las Vegas, Nevada, a lot lately. Okay. And at the end of you know what? Before we even go into, let's go ahead and go into the clip. This frightens me. Listen to the verbiage.
In light of everything that's going on around this country and with the violence going on and with the fear of shootings and the realities of shootings, this is what our officers train for.
A tense, terrifying day for some on the heels of this week's deadly school shooting in Nashville. Thank you for joining us at 4. I'm Kirsten Joyce.
And I'm Denise Valdez. Parents spending hours outside of a Clark County school while police search classrooms looking for a student they believed was armed with a gun. This happened at Shadow Ridge High School, located not too far from Decatur and Grand Teton in the north part of the valley.
Joshua Piguera joins us now live with the latest. Joshua.
Hello, Denise and Kirsten. Metro Police arresting a teenager for what they say was he made threats and showed up to school with a gun. Now, Metro Police are also saying that this individual had a gun, but they haven't located it yet. And the moments leading up to an arrest was anxious for everyone.
All the parents here want their kids to come home because all the other shootings. Oh, you finna make me cry.
Yvette Craig stood outside waiting to pick up her niece. Upset, she says schools are no longer a safe haven for kids.
It's just, ridiculous that it keep happening like this. And it's sad.
Metro Police say an underage student faces charges of terroristic threats. Authorities received a call around 10:15 this morning of a student near campus with a gun. They were then notified the student was walking around campus with that gun. Shadow Ridge went into lockdown. Lieutenant Brian Zink with school police.
We'd like to ask you parents to please remind your children about what is appropriate and inappropriate to say when they are inside a school building. This entire situation could have been avoided if the young man had not said what he said.
Elvira Castro was waiting outside of Shadow Ridge for her daughter.
I went outside my yard and I could hear all the sirens, and that really scared me.
I caught up with her as she reunited with her daughter.
You can't take people lightly anymore. If they say they're going to do something, they normally do it.
Her daughter Elizabeth says the whole experience was nerve-wracking.
My dad told me this morning too, because of the shootings that have been going around
in Tennessee.
Yeah, he was telling me about that, and to just be careful and to be vigilant.
Now, again, police have yet to locate the gun they believe the student brought to school. If confiscated, this would be the 40th gun Clark County School Police have seized this school year. Reporting live near Decatur and Grand Teton, Joshua Piguero, 8 News Now.
So, just to report that even that this happened yesterday, they still have not found the gun, okay? And what scares me in the verbiage is that those police officers were ready to go in and go get, not just get him, but to put him out, put him down. Okay. And that was the verbiage that he said. He was like, with all the height of everything else that's going on, like this was a bad time for this child to say the things that he said. Now, the argument is, did he really have a gun? Did they see the gun? Or was he just talking shit? Okay. And it's hard to go through that, because if you get into it with somebody, yelling, screaming, talking about what you gonna do. I understand that. I understand being frustrated and being a child and not knowing what not to say, but if he did have it, how dangerous was it for this kid? And for them not to find the gun, how dangerous is it for whoever he got into it with, for him to retaliate at one point? Okay. This scares me so much because our kids don't have the option. They don't have an option to put the gun in their purse or backpack to protect themselves to go to school. If a mass shooting breaks out or something like that, they don't have that option. They are our softest target. Okay. And when we talk about gun control, and we talk about this like every week, 3-4 times a week of gun control, the first thing that people say that own guns are, well, you're not going to take my gun away. Well, there's a couple of different things in that. No one's trying to take a law-abiding citizen's gun. Okay. What they're trying to do is give some parameters around this. One would be 80% of the mass shootings, I believe, you can check my numbers, but 80% of the mass shootings in the last 3 years have been 18-year-olds who have just turned 18 and have purchased the gun within the last week. Okay? That tells me that when they're saying they want to change the age to be able to get a gun, to me that makes sense. Because I don't know an 18-year-old out here that really just needs a gun. Okay? When they say that they want to be able to look at different scenarios to make sure that they're looking at the right people when they're dealing with taking away guns. If you have a manifesto on Facebook saying that you're going to kill somebody, that is a red flag. Okay? If you are a hate speech type person and you're bringing that fury or anger or rage around, there is a reason for us to ask. Okay? And there is no reason, not one, where a person's like, I got to get a gun today. I got to get that gun today. You got to give me the gun today. That's a red flag. What do you need the gun for today? Okay? All I'm saying is let's slow down the process of just being able to hand out these guns. Okay? Let's take the time to be able to look like, okay, well, you're trying to get a AR-15 that actually has 2 more levels of clearance. Let's go ahead and go through those. Do you have a Facebook page? Do you have a social media page? Have you had any additional issues with anyone in the last year? Let's check the police records to see if this person has been involved in any additional incidents dealing with either guns, violence, or whatever, racism, whatever. These are the things that we need to do to make sure that our softest targets, which cannot purchase a gun, which cannot have a gun on them, are not being targeted and killed by people with major issues. And I will say this, and my views are not the same views of Hot 702.5 FM. Okay? I don't have a problem if somebody did you wrong and you go get that person. Do what you do. That don't have nothing to do with a child. That's not your target. You want to be mad at something that happened with Donald Trump, and you want to get those people or whatever, somebody did something to you. Handle your business with those people, okay? But bringing people into a situation where they have no idea that this is happening to them is hurtful. We watched in New York when they were in the grocery store, and he was running through there killing black people in this grocery store. They had nothing to do with him. He was coming from a whole nother state, okay, drove into this grocery store. Not one person in this store did he have a problem with. And that's the issue I have. And those people are dangerous. Okay? If a person wants to talk about they want to kill themselves, that person's dangerous. Because if they haven't done it yet, that means that they're scared to do it to themselves. Okay? I'm not condoning none of that. I'm not condoning people killing themselves. I'm not condoning people just going to go shoot and kill people. I'm not condoning any of that. What I'm saying is, people that don't have anything to do with what you're angry about, you should not be doing any of this shit too. Because I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do if I got a phone call that Christian is on lockdown. Okay? I don't know what I would do if he was on lockdown and they saying this is happening. I'm coming in that school. There's no way of me not. Okay? Because I'm coming to get my baby. And I can't even fathom how those people felt outside waiting to try to hear about their kids. And we have seen this several times over where parents are outside for hours waiting. I'm just waiting to hear back from my child. I'm just waiting to see if somebody has some information. And then we find out that they're on the list of the deceased. And that's just crazy to me. So, police here did not find a gun. Okay. This was started by them having a altercation or some type of disagreement, and the child said something that triggered other people to tell authorities, and then authorities came. Okay, they moved in very quickly. They did a good job, and I will tell you, these are the things that we need police to be able to do, because just in Tennessee, they moved in within 3 minutes to be able to get those people. So I just want to say good job for the police officers that were able to get there and to make sure that everybody was safe. Okay. I also want to add that Las Vegas here just today, if you see a whole bunch of police everywhere, is because they're doing active shooter drills on the Strip as we speak. Okay. They're not going to tolerate that here in Las Vegas. Okay. We had our one incident, and when I tell you they don't play that here, they do not play that here. Okay, so they're actually out there right now doing active shooter drills with the police departments, each police department that is here in Las Vegas, to make sure that we are safe and secure and not having to deal with any additional active shooters. Okay, I had this story because this actually made my skin crawl. James Alexander in North Las Vegas was arrested and is now has a bond of $3,000, okay, for trying to molest and then kidnap a child that was attending Somerset Academy. Okay, they said that the mother would drop the child off at the Circle K, I guess, for him to grab some snacks or some breakfast, and then just, I guess it's like across the street or a little bit down the street is his school, and he would walk to school from there. The clerk said that the man was inside of the store trying to purchase vodka, noticed the child, tried to hug the child and put his hands on the child's chest. Then proceeded to ask the child different questions like, where do you live? Are your parents around? Do you want any candy? Stuff like this. And this is the information that the clerk gave. The child started to feel uncomfortable and started to cry. And this is the only reason why the clerk stepped in. At that point, then the clerk figured that this child did not know this person and quickly moved in to make sure that they could separate the man from the child. Okay. I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do if my child was in that situation and And he had to deal with something like that. Someone rubbing on his chest and trying to hug on him and try to get him out of the store. I've already told my son to kick him in the nuts. Okay. Anybody try to walk off with you, grab you or anything, you get you a good hand of that stuff and you try to pull it off their body. All right. Because we have to start we have to get them prepared for any and everything. And with all this additional stuff happening, I mean, I've thought about getting my child a bulletproof backpack. We have tried martial arts to make sure that he can protect himself. Everything else, it is getting so dangerous out here, and you just hear about stuff happening to our kids all the time. I don't care what anybody says. The part of parenting that I'm telling my child is bite it. Bite whatever it is that's around you. Throw a fit, yell and scream. Make sure that somebody sees you. And we have these conversations often because it's happening often. Okay, so you guys watch out for your children. Make sure that if there's a way for you to make sure your child gets to school and you're able to be there for them, do that. I actually stopped a position because it was so stressful for me to be able to leave my child unattended for him to get to the bus for even if it was for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. It bothered me. So you guys just please put a hand on your children and make sure that you're talking to them and knowing if people are talking to them or when they're walking home or whatever. It's too much stuff going on, y'all. So yeah, he has a bail of $3,000. That means that his bail is only like $350, $400. And I just don't think that that's right. I don't think he should have a bail at all for trying to abduct a child, to try to kidnap a child. That to me, he needs to sit in there until he actually goes to court. Okay, that to me makes no sense, and I am totally against him having a bail when it's talking about it. And that's another thing that we deal with is that child molesters, rapists, things like this, they're able to get out on bail and things like that. And then a drug dealer, when if you gave him a different product, okay, he would be able to sell that and you can rehabilitate him, but you will put a child molester or a rapist back on the street before you'll do that for someone who may have sold drugs or something like that. We need to reevaluate that, because I don't see how you can rehabilitate a person that has a fetish for children or is pushing their weight upon a child, a woman, or a man. Okay, this to me is not something that you can rehabilitate. So we're still working on it. All right. I also want to state that if you guys have heard that Tom Brady has purchased a portion of the Aces. Okay. Tell me what you think about that. Call in 702-551-5261. I just want to know how y'all feel about Tom Brady purchasing a portion of the Aces. All right. And that's our local news for today. I want to go ahead and talk about the shooting in Nashville. I'm talking about this hurt. I'm so tired of seeing this shit over and over and over again. Being able to keep seeing them being able to go right into these schools and no one knows that they're there. They're able to be able to find a target and kill them, hurt them, shoot them, or whatever the case may be. To find out that the shooter had a target and it was the pastor allegedly was the pastor, and the pastor's child of 9 years old was one of the victims. So let's go ahead and go into the clip.
No official motive in the case of the 28-year-old who killed 6 people at the Christian school she once attended in Nashville. But one theory holds that she had targeted this man, the church's lead pastor, who's said to have been counseling her. He wasn't there at the time, but his 9-year-old daughter was, and she became one of the victims. Amber Cogliano has more.
Was the Nashville shooter targeting the school pastor and his family? Inside Edition has learned that Audrey Hale, who was transgender, was believed to be having counseling sessions with Chad Scruggs.
He was counseling her?
What I'm hearing, he was providing counseling for her, and something didn't sit right with her.
Former Covenant School pastor Jim Bachman says Hale appeared to be searching for Scruggs when she went through the school. She shot Scruggs' 9-year-old daughter Hallie dead.
If she'd found Chad, if she'd have tried to kill him, maybe she'd have left the daughter alone.
The former pastor also revealed he knew Audrey Hale when she attended the school nearly 20 years ago.
She was a very normal, happy-go-lucky little girl that liked to play kickball with the boys.
And law enforcement experts are studying that daring police raid that took down the shooter and noting the sharp contrast with the failure of the police to save lives in Uvalde, Texas last May. 19 children and 2 teachers were killed at the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde. Here's how cops in Nashville raced upstairs 2 at a time to confront the killer. Contrast that with police in Uvalde standing and waiting as victims lay dying.
Please put your gun down, sir. Please don't hurt anyone else.
In Uvalde, we see multiple officers on the scene and they're not entering the classroom. They're in the hallway, they know where the shooter is. He's still firing, but they're waiting.
The Nashville police officers entered the building here, rapidly checking classrooms on the first floor. The sound of gunfire above them sent them racing to the second floor. That's where they took down the shooter who was firing from this cathedral window, all in just 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
The amount of courage it takes to go into that building and confront the unknown. You've got a shooter who's armed, a shooter who's shooting people, but also maybe the most dangerous of adversaries, right? Someone who's not afraid to die.
And actress Melissa Joan Hart, star of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, now lives near the school. She choked up telling how she and her husband helped children flee.
We helped all these tiny little kids cross the road and get their teachers over there, and we helped a mom reunite with her children. And I don't know what to say anymore. It is just enough is enough.
Enough is enough, okay? It's happening every week. At least once a week. Sometimes twice, 3 times a week. And we were just discussing that what you hear from the government is their prayers go out to the people. That's it. And nothing happens. The Republicans they keep saying, our prayers go out to these people, and then they deny the fact of any additional gun control. I am not here to argue about grown people having their gun and them being good citizens. I am here because they knew that this girl had some issues in her life. Okay, she had mental issues going on. They had already removed guns from her once before. She had 7 guns hidden in the home after this situation. Okay, and this is once again, this is a soft target that cannot protect themselves. The most soft target that we have are children, and this keeps happening to them because they're easy targets. They can't fight back. They don't know what's going on. Regular life situations don't have them understanding what's going on. And we push it back like it's a mental issue. It's a mental issue that pulled the trigger. No, it was that person that had a mental issue that pulled the trigger. That you should have been able to say should not be able to repurchase any additional guns. She's having some type of, there should be like a setting, okay? Just like, shoot, you end up with a DUI. You've done something and they take your license away for a certain amount of time so you learn a lesson. Okay? Like none of that happens when it has anything to do with guns. Everything that goes on with guns it's my right. Is it your right? Is it really your right? Is it not that child's right to be able to go to school and know that they don't have to worry about in-place shelter drill for active shooter? Like we have to get to a point where that they are protected. If no one else, how do we protect the children? How do we make sure that they are not going through this? And as easy as a target as they are, people are able to just walk right on in these goddamn schools, pick out their targets, start shooting, and all of a sudden now it's tactical gear. Now it's call the police. Why is there not anybody at the front door? Why are we dealing with this over and over again and nothing being done? It's the most enraging thing that happens to me because I get on this soapbox and then start thinking about the fact that my son goes to school and he is away from me for 6 hours out of the day where I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know exactly what what class he's in. I can't tell you exactly what door he's in, and that scares me because with it happening so rapidly, so much, that there's a point where it could happen at my child's school. And I don't know how to even tell him how to protect himself in that situation. Do I tell him take off running? Do I tell him to stay under the desk and stay up under there until it's over? What if the person is in his classroom? And we're not having these conversations. The only conversation y'all want to talk about is I want to keep my gun because I go hunting with the gun. Well, what about the people that's going hunting for children? What about the people that's going hunting for religious people or transgender or anyone, just anyone to shoot other than themselves? What about those people? And that's the conversation that needs to be had. My heart and prayers, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say, please pray for the people who are enduring this situation, and let's pray for this not to happen again. Let's make protocol. Let's put in policy that's going to change this situation, because the more we hear it, the more it's easier for us to keep hearing it. The only person that's being able to get their point across is the mass shooter at this point. So, y'all, it hurts me, and I hope that all is well and that they are able to make sure that they can help these people with healing, these children who had to watch this stuff happen as a child. This is not a movie. This is real life that they're going to have to deal with counseling and everything else for the rest of their lives. So I'm very upset about that. I also want to say that Biden is saying that he wants them to put a stronger banking safeguard for the banking. If you did not hear yesterday, Bank of America said that they most definitely said they're going to be in a recession, and they're already enduring the same things as crippling and crumbling establishment for money. This institution is saying that they're having these issues. Why is there not anything in place? Because once again, if they do this stupid thing called the trickle down effect, I ain't never got my trickle. Ain't nobody sent me no money. Okay, they've been able to even when they had the COVID situation and they were sending this money off to these companies and everything else. All we saw were CEOs and COOs and people who said that they were COOs and CEOs doing crab boils and hitting Cabo, okay? None of that money trickled down. I didn't get a trickle. And if you can always call me and see if you can give me my trickle, because it never came to me, okay? So if you find my trickle out there, somebody let me know, because that's not working. Giving the money to the people who are going to take the money and put it in Swiss banks and not have to pay any additional taxes on it, and then not have to go to jail for it, but you'll put somebody in jail for them so-called stealing $875 worth of unemployment. There is a problem here, okay? Because if you start cutting off the head, you ain't got to worry about the tail. So I'm having issues with that. I don't know what y'all doing with y'all money. But like I said, my son gave me a couple of counterfeits or whatever, and be with those. Also, Texas judge has blocked the Obamacare mandate for free preventive care, including birth control. I don't know what they want. One moment they say, we don't want to help you with welfare and everything else. And then they say, but you go have them children. You are going to have those children, okay? But then on the same fact, they don't want to give them free education. They don't want to give them any additional medical. They don't want to give them no food or nothing. But you go have these children, okay? The child ends up being a part of the state, ends up being a menace to society. And then you want to say, well, where was the parenting? The parent said at first they didn't want the kid. I'm not putting it out there like abortion is the way to go or anything like that. But shit, let somebody have some birth control and some condoms. That's why are we stopping? Why are we starting with that? Okay? Why aren't you saying, let's go ahead and get these men on birth control because they are the problem? Put your dick up. The biggest issue I have is that every time we get to talking about women's care and everything else, they talk about the cost of it, but they're not talking about the fact that it needed a penis to be able to get to this stage. And that bothers me, okay? Because he had the right to say, no, I'm not going to have sex with her. No, I'm not going to have sex with her without a condom. No, no, we had a mistake. Let's go ahead and go get the Plan B pill. She says, you know what? After all that, I'm going to have the baby. Then all of a sudden, no, you can't have that baby. And then in the same voice, be like, you got to have that baby. Y'all need to make y'all mind up. And if you don't have a cooter, I don't think you should be in this argument. Okay? Because that argument to me is void. He had the right to say no to her beforehand. Period, point blank. It's her body. She should be able to do what she wants with it. Half of them ain't paying child support anyway. Let's deal with that situation. And I heard a statement out there said that if it wasn't for welfare, there'd be a lot of unfit mothers out there also. That's true. It's true. Okay? I'm not taking nothing away from the men that are out there that want to be great fathers. I'm not taking nothing away from the women that are out there that want to be great mothers. The people who made the decision to say, you know what? He doesn't want to be a part of this child's life. I'm going to raise this child to be mine. No problem. But why are you having anything to say about what a woman should do with her life? Because having a child is not just laying on the table and having a kid. She is now attached to that kid until that child is gone. Not when she's gone. When that child is gone. Connected. Okay? And everybody should have their own right to be able to say what happens in their life. So we had that situation going on. Texas, y'all get on my nerves. Every time something happens, y'all come up with a reason why y'all are one of the worst states. You in Florida, y'all can fight it out. We can just cut y'all right on off this country. And y'all just float on out. Because every time, if it has something to do, DeSantis and them, all y'all getting on my nerves. Okay? Because we sit and we listen to these things that these people say and then don't have a reaction to the fact that what they're doing is detrimental to everything else that's going around. Florida has issues. They don't want you talking about nothing dealing with race or nothing. Nothing. Okay? But then on the same fact, you doing pride. I don't understand. I don't understand. Which way are we going to go with this? What else we got going on? Oh, another train derailment. Okay, in Minnesota, this happened just about 18 hours ago. Okay, carrying hazardous chemicals, and this is the second one this week because we had one in Bakersfield on Sunday. What's going on? Obviously, this is either not a good way to travel, not a good way to be sending off chemicals, or what. But why is this happening so much all over this country? Go ahead and put your comment in the comments, because to me that bothers me, because why aren't y'all trying to fix that situation? You're still sending all this money off to Ukraine, and then in the same fact we have people who cannot even drink the water at their home. We have people that cannot, the animals that the chickens, the beef, everything that's around there is eating and drinking of this toxic stuff that is now put into the environment, and now we're stuck. That bothers me also. So the military has just released that 9 of their soldiers that were doing a training in Texas and Kentucky have died. They were in 2 Black Hawks, and they were doing a training in the middle of the night. Yeah. Weirdly, and all 9 people had passed away, so my heart goes out to those people also. In the same breath, okay, Kentucky is also passing a law to ban gender conforming for any youth, any additional transgender youth. What do you guys think about that? 702-551-5261. Put your comment in there and let me know what you think about it. All right. We also have, I wanted to speak on this very quickly. There is 9 million Native Americans who are waiting for our government to be able to make a decision on if they have the control to keep their children. This is something crazy, because in this it's stating that there's about 500 Native American children who have died in these American border schools that they keep sending these kids to try to keep them from being inside of their tribe and being able to do the teachings of what they want. This is them indoctrinating this American way into the Native American culture. And this bothers me because there was a story, and I read this book a couple years ago about a woman talking about her grandmother. And when she was talking about her grandmother, is this the clip? No, it's okay. I'll just talk through this one. The lady had her grandmother, and dealing with the grandmother, she said that her grandmother was raised in a facility and not raised by her parents. They were taken, and most of these kids never made it back to their parents. Just like how they had the kids on the borders, and they're saying that there are almost 10,000 children who are still missing or not being reunited with their parents. This is scary for a child to be able to go through these situations and nothing is being said. Only thing they're talking about now is TikTok and banking. Okay, 9 million Native Americans are waiting for the decision for them to have their own children back in their own homes. Quickly, I want to go over really quick that Putin has decided that he is no longer notifying the U.S. or NATO of him doing nuclear missile testing. This is scary because what if he does it? Okay, and it's supposed to be so-called a test, and we take it as a threat, and we send off missiles, and now it's a war. Okay, what happens if it's not a test and he sends it? They say it can make it all the way to New York. What do we do? Now, communication is everything. You talk about that in your relationships and everything else. Like, we're supposed to be talking so we know what's going on. If he's not talking, that means that this is a escalation of violence or aggression. It scares me. Please pray for our soldiers who are out there. You guys, I just really want to give you a gist of what's going on for this week. Please keep your eyes open for the things that are happening around us. Know that we are the key to being able to fix everything in the government. And the reason why we are is because we pick our Senate, we pick our House, and those are the people who represent us. If we are not saying anything, then we are at fault. You guys, thanks again for coming to sit with me with the Chisholm Report. I am Kristie J. If you see someone out there grinding, let them know you see them shining. I love you guys, and I'll see you next Saturday, 10 a.m.
If I was president, I'd get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday, they go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, if I was president, yeah. Instead of spending billions on the war, I can use that money so I can feed the poor, cause I know some so poor. When it rains, that's when they shower, scream and fight the power. That's when the vulture devours. If I was president, I get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday, they go back to work on Monday. If I was president, was president, if I was president, yeah. I know some soldiers that sleep but they can't dream.